there is so much
There's been like
hints.
Beast Wars.
Yes, they hinted for
Yeah.
GI Joe. There's so many hints about it. I don't know if that's actually still being made or developed at this point, because Hasbro right now is kind of just flopping their dicks around right now, and the lack of a better word here. They don't know what the hell to do with their own IP titles. They straight up did not think that Transformer 1 was going to do that well, so they didn't do that much marketing for it. But it also turns out, hey, the movie is actually really fucking good. What the hell did you do? My birth year is still within 95.
I am a dinosaur.
Oh, good. So, what is it that we'll be talking right here? It's mostly just going to be a follow up too, because let's be honest, let's talk a lot of trash about some of the movie stuff that's been coming out lately. So, I hate to admit it now because you made that statement from the previous podcast episode. Yeah, we're getting a Legend of Zelda live action.
Well, yeah, duh. Well, first off, we didn't. When I made that statement and that theory to you, I didn't know it was going to be live action. Everyone thought it was going to be animated because the
That's
Mario movie was animated.
At least for the most part, it would have made sense for it to be animated in some aspect.
Yeah.
But they were really going for a live action, which I'm like, you know what? Sure, I guess. But god damn it.
I mean, like, it's a high fantasy, right? And we
Hmm.
haven't really had many high fantasy live action movies since D&D. The D&D movie would, I guess, would count as a high fantasy sort of
I
live action movie.
actually I would count Sonic as a live action. Actually,
Well, okay. So when I'm say, okay, maybe I should clarify like medieval fantasy.
medieval fantasy, yes. I
My
mean
bad.
the
When I say high fantasy, I for some reason I think of Lord of the Rings.
I mean that isn't a that far off comparison to make either way too, right? Since that's like, yeah, that is the most recent thing that we can think of with high fantasy. But we don't even know if that's like the angle that they could be going for this one.
For the
So
Zelda
it's
movie, well,
yeah,
you know what? That's actually a fair thing to say because a long time ago they did think, in one of the like Hyrule Historia books, they did say that they had an idea for like a cyberpunk Link, and then they were
what the
supposed to give him like an Akira style motorcycle, which is how we got the Master Cycle in Breath of
oh
the Wild.
I see, huh?
Yeah, and then the sort of like artificial hand from Tears of the Kingdom is also like a remnant of that idea of like a sort of the cyberpunk Zelda idea.
I did not know that actually. What the hell? Wait, where'd you say this was explained?
Hyrule Historia in one
Hyrule
of the like behind the scenes development when they were like showing off what was it, concept art and just like
Right,
sketches of them finalizing design. There was a little note that said they had an idea for a cyberpunk Zelda.
right.
But
I
then
mean, yeah,
they scrapped the idea because it was like it's too far away from what Zelda actually is.
right. That is true though too. Like, holy shit.
But if they're
I,
gonna make a futuristic cyberpunk-ish movie, then you already know what I want. You already know what I want.
Look, I don't think we're getting another Blade Runner anytime soon.
Not Blade Runner, you idiot. Batman Beyond.
Oh, no, that's never coming out as what it is. I think a lot of people can acknowledge too that even then, Batman Beyond is a very niche uh, s- sequel title to the Batman animated series. And is it bad that people don't know it? And I guess in our opinion, yeah, you guys should know about something like this too, because this is like a really like pivotal point in a lot of the movie histories. And there's another thing that I saw as well too, where Netflix greenlit I believe it was a Gundam project as well, Gundam live action project. A lot of people are saying,
Gundam live action.
yeah, we don't know which one they're necessarily talking about. A lot of people might be speculating it could be the Hathaway Flash live action, as that's currently the big thing going around. But I okay, hot take with this one too, because this is like under Netflix too. Would you say this movie would hit or miss?
Gundam
Yeah,
live action?
yeah. Because I'll give
Well,
you a little history after your answer. So
I don't. First off, I'm not too familiar with the Gundam franchise, unlike you and other people that we run with.
yeah,
Let's see. If I have to give an opinion, then I have to base it off of, I guess, some things that could be related to it. So it's a Netflix show, and they're trying to bring a Japanese franchise
Well, I
into
don't think
it,
it's a show was the
um,
thing too. I think they mentioned that it was going to be a movie,
or a movie.
which
Okay, so I'm going off of examples, the recent examples, like the One Piece, right?
mhm.
So first off, how did that do?
It's actually doing decently well with a lot of normal audiences. There are definitely some people who are just like, "What the hell is going on with this?" But it's like, if you watch the original source material, it's been fucking weird. All right, calm down.
Yeah,
So
I yes, I would know.
yeah, so it's.
So
I don't think it's
based
doing
off of
terrible.
that,
At least, in my
then it should be fine. I think what I would be interested in mostly is, well, the Gundams themselves. Like, most likely, first off, is this live action or is this animated?
it. They mentioned that this is live action too because they actually already
Okay,
revealed some of the castings. We don't know what
okay,
again what story they're gonna do with it here because it's
okay.
really much up
So
in
first
the air.
off, as someone who's not really a Gundam fan, right?
Mhm.
Uh, like I guess hot take is, as a not Gundam fan, I don't really care about the story. I just care about the cool robots, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
This
part
is
of
the
this story too, is the fact that we don't
Yeah,
know
I know, I
exactly
know,
where
I
this
know
is going to be
robot
it.
would be part of the cool story, but then it's like, so how are they gonna do the robot? Because personally, I think it would be pretty cool if they like had practical sets, you know?
That
They somehow managed to practically make a a pseudo Gundam, or like some sort of gun, like even if
s-
it's just like the upper half of the body or
what
something
if
like
it's
that.
a it's like the style like Pacific Rim? That maybe if it was
Yeah.
made in like something like that, that'd be kind of cool to see. But it's really weird to kind of word this out because of the fact that there's a couple things here. I already made in this case a Gundam like talk a while back as well too, where I did like a seminar for it. But effectively, what's going to be interesting too, because okay, so there is at least some rumors as I looked it up just now. It is going to be taking around the Universal Century timeline, which is the main timeline story here for everybody else, and for you, this is considered a canon storyline.
Okay,
So
so in terms of Star Wars, this would be like the canon movies. Okay, got it.
yes, yes, effectively so. So we don't exactly know. A lot of people are guessing too. It could be based off like the nicher like spin-off series that Gundam has too, because that's always like really popular, like spin-offs. So that's another thing that I'm not at the very least like overly concerned about it too. But I'm not saying that's gonna be great, right? Because at least for the most part, the other series that they did, Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, another Netflix series too, it was okay too. But they do in this case portray really well of how terrifying these mobile suits from Earth Federations are, which are in this case that are just mass production copies of the RX-78, which is the OG Gundam. And to the eyes of like regular soldiers, this is terrifying, like straight up. So I won't know until I really see it. And also, I am talking on my ass. There was a live action movie, and that's fucking like Markiplier's Iron Lung movie.
It's a Gundam movie.
No, 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 not the Gundam movie. When you mentioned it was like the last live action that you were talking about. When I was trying to make
Last
a
live
reference,
action.
because you mentioned
Oh,
it before, you were thinking of like other high fantasy. I gave you like Sonic the Hedgehog. In reality, it's actually
oh yeah,
Iron Lung. I completely forgot about that because it was that recent.
yeah. I heard good things about that. I haven't seen
Oh,
it yet though.
yeah, same here. But it is definitely really good. I we were we right on the mark too that like it feels like this seems like a new era of like movie making where they're going to be entertaining more live actions similar to like our Harry Potter era where every movie studio was trying to adapt a book or a novel somewhere.
Um, More live action, less CGI. I guess so, because I haven't been keeping too much with movie trends, but I think people are just fatigued at like too much CGI, and I'm pretty sure most of the big studios, they kind of just, outsource their CGI
Yeah, no, or for
to
better or for worse, right?
like fucking, I don't know, India, Indonesia, or whatever.
Right.
And so like live action seems to be more in demand now. It's kind of swung the other way. And also, I don't know if it's because maybe AI, like, with more and more AI coming in, maybe it's like it's gotten more expensive to do CGI, and so oddly enough, it might be more reasonable logistically to do live action. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see from that angle too, where it could definitely be like that might be a lot better, but it's also a little bit odd too because I don't think that's ever the case either too. Because I think they're just straight up titles that can functionally work and people will go see it. Like for me, for example, I'm actually kind of excited to see Street Fighter live action, even though we've seen one like earlier, and I still have a that still has a place in my heart, especially with the actor that played as M Bison. Said that this was like his last movie before he passed away of his disease or sickness from whatever.
Ah, yes. No, not he's not the original, but the
No,
Adams Family guy. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember
yeah,
him.
yeah.
He
It
was cool.
was yeah.
I think he
He
was also in Mario movie, the OG '80s one.
I think he was, yeah.
I think it was one of the Koopas.
Oh my god. Why did you remind me of the Koopas here, man? They would look awful, man. What the?
Hey man, it was back in the '80s, man. That movie was something else.
God.
But also you said something like earlier before, like how people during the Harry Potter movies were chasing after like book IPs. Well, first off, they're always chasing after some sort of IP. They're always,
Right.
always doing that, right? But like thinking about it now, it's like I'm gonna make a weird comparison, but it's like fossil fuel, right? We've had all these great IPs that's been, you know, hasn't been excavated, so to speak. And so like we hit a couple of big ones like Lord of the Rings and then Harry Potter, and then the Marvel comics and DC comics, and then now the well's drying up because
Hmm.
we're not producing as much big hits compared to comparatively speaking. I think
Right.
because like there isn't that many like they're like whatever book writing or just writing in general isn't producing as many stuff as we're like you consuming them media wise
Right.
from that are from like ages ago. Like off the top of my head, I would say oddly enough, like Maze Runner, if you remember, if you know that series.
I remember watching it too. That was actually like out of all like the book stuff too outside of Harry Potter, Maze Runner was actually kind of my favorite too. Like
Yeah, I watched the first movie. I haven't seen the others, but
I,
like
yeah.
but like after Maze Runner, what other like book
uh
adaptation movies
there
have
was
there
the
really
Divergence
been?
series. There was Divergence
Oh yeah,
and
I
Hunger
forgot that.
Games was
I've
also another. Like there
Hunger
were
Hunger
like
Games was before the Maze Runners, I think, movie
yes.
wise.
Yeah, it was before. And if I remember correctly too, Divergence was actually the author got inspired by the Hunger Games in a very weird way, but at some point when I was watching those movies, they kind of lost the plot of the original premise that they were going with.
Yeah. So
So,
like
yeah.
they're not producing as much like media, or at least, or you could argue that they're not. There probably are some great books, great stories, great writing. They're just not given the time to really like cook or to really like shine, especially since like everyone's chasing after whatever IP that they can make money off of now, and so it's kind of like crowding out the newer stuff. It's like a forest of trees, right? You gotta prune some of
Right.
the older trees in order to let the newer trees be able to like grow.
Right. It's something that like at least from what I can understand too. I'll get into some of the other stuff too, but I kind of want to stick with the live action stuff as well because there's a lot of very weird projects that are coming up too. At least that are sort of like hinted that they're working on, but it's like yet to be announced here. For example, Expedition 33 is apparently there's rumors that that's being made right now too under Sony
Really,
Pictures or yeah, by Sony Kitchen. I don't know which
Sony's.
yeah, Sony is
Well,
working on that.
you know what? That's not very surprising to me. And now
Yeah.
that I like think about it, it's like yeah, because isn't that guy? Oh, I forgot his name, but it's like some sort of Middle Eastern guy. It's like it's executive there. He
Oh.
he he's like the head of like the Sony film or animation division or whatever, and then
Hmm.
he's the one who like spearheads most of their like movies. Like I think the Borderlands movie was spearheaded by him, and I know the
Oh.
Ghostbuster, the female Ghostbusters movie was also spearheaded by him. He also spearheaded the the Venom movies as well. I forgot
Uh,
his name. He's some sort of Middle Eastern.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that part. Mhm.
he likes to collect a lot of pop culture IPs and make them into movies, for good or for worse.
Yeah, it's very interesting and odd too. But there's even another case too where apparently Helldivers is getting a movie too, and I'm like, is that just Starship Troopers at that point?
It's literally just Starship Trooper. Please, if you're doing a Helldivers movie, please bring back Neil Patrick Harris.
No, no, no.
It'd be a
Imagine,
really cool cameo.
they could do the most funniest thing too. They could say that they
Most
have
funniest
all this
I've ever
trailer to
seen,
do
sure.
Hell. Okay, shut up, Fu. They could do the hilarious move of showcasing, marketing all of this stuff for the Helldivers movie. As soon as people walk in to sit down, it's just Starship Troopers. You're just watching the
Just
first movie.
Starship.
Yeah, you're just watching the first movie, and it's like, man,
It honestly would make a lot of sense because, like, hey, that's a pretty easy writing job right there.
yeah,
and like you don't have to worry about being too politically correct because it's supposed to be satire. You're supposed to make it as ridiculous as possible. That's kind of what
right.
the original Starship Trooper was, anyways.
Yeah, and I still remember people are trying to talk about the politics behind that when in reality, it's like, why does this matter? But anyways, there's even like talks of an Elden Ring movie as well by the A24 group.
Oh man, I
I
mentioned before that like written media isn't producing as much as we're consuming the written media, but then look at all these video games, movies, that ideas that are
right?
popping up. It
Yeah.
really is. Video game movies really is going to fill the void of the superhero genre. I've
It
mentioned this to you before.
it you have, and I am like suspending my belief until otherwise. And then I see like this is based off like the Wikipedia list that anybody can look up and look through this for all these upcoming projects here. You have that, and there was even from what I can see here a Metal Gear film in production here, or at
Without
least it's
Kojima,
just
mind you.
yeah, not without Kojima. Holy fuck, that's actually a good point too with that. Anyways, we have that Sleeping Dogs, Untitled Saints Row film, and hold on, am I seeing this correctly? A Ghost Recon movie, but Michael Bay is directing this.
A Ghost Recon Michael Bay movie. Oh,
I
okay. That's for some reason, I my initial impression of Ghost Recon is stealth, but with
right.
Michael Bay, I'm like, are they trying to do a loud stealth movie?
No, no, no. This is actually on par with Michael Bay here because he's been, in this case, the biggest proponent of showcasing a lot of
CGI.
military, not CGI, military like assets here. You watch all of his previous Transformers, all of his Bad Boys movies too.
I know,
Yeah,
but he gets memed about CGI explosions. You know that.
yeah. It's like, yeah, that's whatever too. The CGI explosion. It's like it's something that like, yeah, he does it here and there. They honestly look like fireworks and they do look like actual explosion. But in all honesty, too, if I look at all the previous films too, and I just look at what he's trying to showcase too, they are fucking beautiful shots, despite everything else. Like
It is.
he knows
I will
how to
say
frame.
he does. He does know how to frame, and you're right. You're right. The Transformers movie really does. He does a really good job showcasing military stuff.
Yeah, and it's just like, where did all this come from? To be mindful here too, I didn't know much about like directors until like I started noticing some stuff. Then I grew old enough to, and I looked into the directors, and I'm like, oh my god, that's why some scenes were shot this way, and why in this case Michael Bay is this, or Christopher Nolan is a fucking nut job here and there. In a good way, is why I'm calling him a nut job because I'm actually excited for his Odyssey movie. So,
I heard something about that. I know
what
it's
have you
Matt
heard?
Damon,
Oh yeah,
and I also know they casted shoot, what was that girl's name? I think she was in Black Panther, but she ended up being cast as Helen of Troy.
interesting. I mean, like
Yeah,
I
it
said,
was
I'm not.
I can't remember. It's one of those. It was one of the Black Panther characters.
Yeah, I'll probably put this out there too. I don't think it really matters too much too, especially the time or especially the area that the Odyssey kind of takes place too within the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah, you're kind of gonna get people that also have like that skin toned as well, regardless.
Yeah, but
So
Helen of Troy?
I, you know what, you got me there. All right. I wouldn't know. I don't know for the most part why that is, right? But
Do you know what Helen of Troy, her role was in the well, in this case more like the Iliad.
God, it's been a while since I read that. Actually, shit. Could you enlighten me for a refresher course, especially since I
Okay,
didn't do that well
so
in English?
no, me neither. But Helen of Troy was supposed to be is literally the whole reason why the Trojan War happened in the first place, I believe. Because she
Oh,
was supposed to be like the most beautiful woman in the world. And she, I think, like got abducted and got kidnapped and like are kidnapped and brought to Troy, and that's why the whole Greek alliance banded together to go to war with Troy in order to get Helen of Troy back.
right. Okay.
So
I
like
mean, yeah.
she was supposed to be like the most beautiful woman that literally started a whole war.
Okay. So, like I said, I probably won't judge it for that regardless. Still want to go see it because it's a Christopher Nolan movie too. I think casting aside too, I'm just kind of curious what the hell he's gonna do. That's about it, really.
Well, if they're doing the Odyssey, then I guess like Helen of Troy doesn't really play a big role. There was mostly the Iliad. The Odyssey is mostly about how Odysseus like either is like the biggest brain genius ever or like the biggest idiot ever. It just kind of he kind of sways between the two of them, which is really funny.
Right. Let's see. And I okay, before I go with like even more stuff too, I do want to like ask in this case your opinion about a hot take that I've had too.
All
Do
right,
you
shoot.
all right. Do you think current media right now too, or current like movies and TV shows that we watch has been ruined by streaming services?
Ruined by streaming services.
I'll divulge in the nuances of what I mean by this.
Okay.
So why I mentioned that too is the fact that I've noticed a lot of times too, and this is also like from a lot of records of other Netflix, internal Netflix people when they mention like greenlighting shows or how they handle productions. And the fact that they will have someone that would be on site and they would just say, hey, even though yes, I respected this case that you're a great director, but could you at least like instead of like showing it, can you just tell it to them too? Just make your actors just say the line instead of like showcasing in screen because they're
So
anticipating that.
you're basically saying nuance is dead.
Yes, in a way too, because I would actually nuance would be part of it. Yes, I think what I'm really going for as well is that like a lot of the filmings too that like Dune white might be the last, or Dune might be one of like the bigger few franchises that actually still like doesn't tell you directly what's going on too, but that you can kind of piece together the story just based on the visuals that they give you.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
director's touch right there.
yeah. Like I've always like been a big proponent of show and don't tell too, but I'm also like understanding too that not everyone is going to like be able to sit through a movie to like look through this because I this is in my opinion too why I think they're kind of ruining it too because they're also anticipating the audience is not going to be like actually attentive by looking at the screen, so it's better if you just say the lines like as it is including the actions just so that someone else that has the movie streaming in the TV background while doing chores can still be attentive while not looking at the screen. Like for me, that's how what I'm getting at with this.
Um, so has streaming ruined media? I think streaming is more of a symptom, not
It,
the actual problem.
hmm,
See, the reason is because how we consumed media before, and I'm speaking mostly from my own experience growing up in the 90s and 2000s and such, is that media was mostly just movies in movie theaters and
hmm,
then TV shows, cartoons for me mostly, on the
right,
TV that follow the set schedule. But with modern advances and modern conveniences, you would think that does not translate into better quality media by
right,
having modern conveniences. In fact, like with the onset of streaming, there's fewer needs to go to the movie theaters. But as a result, like people, myself included, get very like apathetic. It's the same. Like I'm trying to like streaming is so convenient that I
Hmm.
don't feel the need to watch the show. It's like having
Right.
a Steam library full of like 300 freaking games, but you only play a few of them, right?
Right.
You know you have all those convenient options, but you just don't do it because you know you're always gonna have them, right?
Gotcha.
And so because of that, okay, so like these people that make the media, right? They have to fight that apathy, or the audience apathy of like streaming's too convenient. So like how are you going to stand out among hundreds and thousands of like other
Yeah.
media? Then
Yeah.
you
It's
gotta that's why like they fight for IP even more because they need the IP to stand out. But
yeah.
as a result of that, they exhaust the list of IPs there is, and so they have to keep reaching for even more.
Yeah.
And yeah, so has it ruined media in general? It's just changed with like with smartphones, people's attention spans are just naturally smaller,
Yeah.
shorter, right? And so it's hard. It's like it's more on the impact. They need the impact more, and then but the content doesn't have to be that great anymore. It's the impact that's more important, and the impact is you'll get your money. It might not last long, but hey, I feel like that the media game has changed, right? There's always gonna be a niche for, like, really meticulously built artistic style movies like Dune. There's always gonna be a niche for them. There's always gonna be, like, a crowd or, like, a fan base that can appreciate, art form like
Right.
that, but the media landscape is, I feel, more dominated by, like, just modern slop because that's
For lack of better word, yeah, modern slop.
lack of a better word, modern slop. Because like once you have the like initial attention, like, oh, it's a live action One Piece show, you're going to get the attention of One Piece fans.
Yeah.
And then the show doesn't have to be that good because you got their attention.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's yeah. As much as yeah, that is about right. And it's something that like a lot of people say, is that just like a cop out at that point too? It's like it doesn't have to be a cop out, right? That's the thing here too. Like you have like a lot of these like shows that actually end up doing good in streaming wise. Take for example, Andor. That was honestly a phenomenal series. Even though for the most part too, we thought that they have already exhausted the Star Wars IP. I'll be honest too. I thought they were actually done, but there are actually people that want to make stuff with the IP, and it does show that there is definitely still hope. And my take about fucking Star Wars is actually good if you don't fucking focus on the Jedi stuff. Holy shit.
Oh man, you gotta have the Jedi stuff. Otherwise
I
the
know.
executives aren't going to approve. Literally, EA executives, they get shown a Star Wars game that's not about Jedis, and then they ask, where the hell are the lightsabers?
It's
Those are
like,
the kind of people who are greenlighting stuff, man.
yeah.
Gotta please
And
them first.
yeah, and it's also like it doesn't help too. That's like something that a lot of other people would also see otherwise too. It's like, yeah, they do have a point, but at the same time, there's definitely like way cooler stuff too. Like for example, we're getting another Star Wars Clone Wars series coming out from this dude, Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. Holy hell, does this look really good! And apparently, Sam Witwer, the voice of Darth Maul, is gonna have a much more creative control over this project. So
Yeah, he's a good one to get creative control.
yeah. And then not only that too, what just dropped recently, we have Spider Noir. And guess who's playing as Spider Noir? Nicolas
Nicholas.
Cage. Holy shit.
Oh yeah. That
I
will
did
that man
I
that man will never that man does not say no to anything.
he does it. Some people just say that like he's broke at this point and he just needs money. And I was like, I mean, you're not wrong per se too. He did spend a lot of money on dumb shit. So I wouldn't surprise me otherwise too. But then there's like even whenever he did the beyond or into this oh sorry into the Spider Verse movie too. There was even at one point where he's like, I really want to play as Spider Noir still. Like there's something about him that's like super ridiculous, but he has like that edge with him that Nicolas Cage has always had in a lot of his acting career. And for the most part too, I don't think he's properly done a superhero role. I'm not counting the Flash movie. That one was a travesty to everything that's known in mankind.
Nicholas Cage done a superhero esque movie. I want okay, fine, he has.
Maybe in his
He has.
maybe in his early titles.
No, no,
Definitely in
no,
his
he
early titles.
has.
Oh, which one?
He was Ghost Rider.
I can't believe I forgot about that fact. Holy shit.
He was Ghost Rider, man.
Oh my god. I am a fraud. Holy fuck.
This is why you bring me on for movie topics.
Yeah, god damn it. I would forget about these things too. God damn it. Ah, god, man. There's so much about me that like as much as like we have superhero fatigue, we can't get enough of it. Let's be honest with ourselves here. Like there's definitely like people are getting tired of like some of like the stuff that's coming out from Marvel, but we're kind of getting tired of in this case the copy cookie cutter cutout storytelling that you give to all these superhero movies when you're like try something new, do something weird, whatnot. That was why Guardians of the Galaxy actually did pretty well. Albeit, I wish that some smaller new criticism here. I wish some of the action scene in the first movie did a little bit better, but they improved that shit over time.
They just don't give enough time for their movies to cook anymore. Like,
I
to be fair, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man, they had their origin movies
yeah, because
like
like
their
there
origin
was
movie was literally made just to be like a setup for the first Avengers movie. But
yeah,
they still gave him time to have some nuance.
yeah, which is perfectly fine too. And guess what too? Captain America was like, oh, okay, this is just more or less mediocre, like an origin story for Captain America. And then you have the Winter Soldier, which did a 180 of like the tone that we were thinking this Captain America movie was going to be, and we're like, holy shit, we are so down for this type.
Well, okay. To be fair to the original, the first Captain America movie, it wasn't just a, sure,
Right.
it may have felt like a sort of like a clocked in super movie, right? But it does do, if you compare it with the more modern Marvel stuff, that movie actually did
Holds a
a
lot better
lot
than.
of legwork. Well, no, no, no.
Yeah.
It did a lot of legwork in establishing the character and
Right.
establishing the lore of the character, right?
Right.
And that's something that's like very, I think, severely missing with more modern Marvel projects, right? They don't let
Yeah.
the characters like cook. They don't let the characters like get the
Uh,
audience to really understand the characters well enough
that's
to really care about them. But the first
yeah.
Captain America movie, yeah, it was pretty mid, but it did establish a lot of his character traits and a lot of his
Mhm.
character values in a very, I guess, efficient package.
Efficient
They
is
at least
probably
had
like the
that.
weird word to say, but yeah, you are right in that regard, right? And then next thing you know, you even have right now, like we would say, be tired of watching superhero movie. Literally, the most recent Superman movie was perfect. It was everything that I've wanted out of a Superman movie, and then more, because it kind of was, in my eyes, a spit to the face to those that said otherwise that you can't make like a good Superman story
Yep.
just
If
because
Scott
of
was
like
here, he would be one of those people.
yeah. And it's like that's the most thing about it too. You just had to focus on the fact too that like yeah, this Superman admits that he has flaws. He's just doing everything he can. A lot of people actually worded this correctly too, where Batman is like more or less like his character representation is like that of like a very like disgruntled and maybe a corrupt police, where Superman is like the naive fireman, where he would do everything he can to save a life, even if it meant property destruction. And that's like such a apt comparison to differentiate the two, that I'm like, this is why like Batman and Superman like collabs work so well together, just because of that alone.
I also, and I know you'll agree with me on this, but I also think that the villain was enticing as well. You can't have a good superhero movie
God,
without a good villain as
God,
well.
that was all right. Do you agree with me when I said this on a podcast like a little bit while back too? But do you agree that was probably our best live action Lex Luthor that we've ever had?
That was the best live action Lex Luthor we've ever had.
Like, holy hell. Some people said too, I think it was because there was like the whole thing too where that actor for Lex Luthor originally like applied to be the role of Clark Kent's Superman, but they didn't give him the role, but they may say, but you could go bald and play as his antagonist villain. It's like, Jesus. And it's like, I wonder
Like
how much of this is acting or him be like genuinely crashing out at Superman. I don't know,
like
but I like it.
okay, so if you want to make a good superhero movie, you got to go back to the basics. And what is back to the basics? You gotta have a good villain to foil with your superhero, right? You gotta have you just you can't get away from the basics. Okay, the basics is always for superheroes. Is always like you gotta have the villain that can really challenge the ideals and
It's
values of the superhero. You have to
right,
have that. That's like
right.
this is Marvel. Marvel has gotten away with this for a lot of their stuff, a lot of their movies. Like you
Hmm.
like there's not that many memorable Marvel villains, right? The meme
Like,
of like everyone was just fucking I don't know, it was a dark elf. Like who the hell are
yeah,
the dark elves from the Thor 2, right? It wasn't
God,
until like Ultron. Ultron was very interesting. And then
yeah,
Thanos, right? Thanos was very, very good. And those are
yeah,
the villains that people remember.
yeah.
So like DC has a very I think DC has a healthier cast
Like a
of villains,
more colorful cast of villains. Yes.
more interesting cast of villains,
Hmm.
compared to Marvel that isn't Spider-Man.
Right.
So like if they can learn from the recent Superman movie the right lessons, then what they need to do is they need to have an equal amount of focus, not on just on the main character, the superheroes, but also the supervillains. You got to have an
Yeah.
interesting. Like
Yeah. Because
they should have learned this from like the Dark Knight. They should
right,
have,
they
but I
should have.
forgot it because they want to freaking Zack Snyder's fucking dark edgy style and realistic style. That was the lesson they learned from the Nolan movies, but not the basics of the basics. Right? You
Yeah.
got to have your rogues gallery.
I mean, here's the thing about it too is the fact that I think what actually sets it up too is writing Lex Luthor to be unapologetically an asshole villain.
Yeah, and that's what
Like,
makes them a good villain.
like you don't need to give him redeeming quality. Like, I'm glad too that like watching this was like a breath of fresh air when it came to the way how they are writing villains. Because sometimes it's okay to like have villains that are sympathetic. That's okay, right? You like there's like a time and place where that can work. But especially with like Superman being like the goody good person too, you really gotta make it like, man, Lex Luthor really has to be the biggest hater of Superman in order for him to be the villain. And it turns out, holy shit, he did. My still favorite scene is the fact that with all of his
One
money
A.
is the yeah, with all of his money that he made into making interdimensional portals that he could travel across different points of time or place too.
He uses it to fight Superman instead.
Yeah, and not only that too. Instead of like just having a hacker just make like bot accounts to do this, he legitimately have genetically modified monkeys to be shit posting on behalf of hating Superman. Like this is the level of petty hatred of one person that at this point, I think a lot of villains are gonna have any other live action villain is gonna have a hard time trying to top that at that point. Like
Yeah,
there's like this movie showcases to you like how much Lex Luthor hates Superman in that level too, where it doesn't even feel cringe at all too. Because why? He's not like playing at that bit too. He just knows that, yeah, I did this. So what? What are you gonna do? It's like kind of shit. Oh my god.
it's
Ugh.
mostly because he thinks he's better and he's right over other people, which I think makes him a more compelling villain in nowadays environment, nowadays like political climate, where most of the time admitting you're wrong is not what's going to happen. Instead, you mostly double down on stuff.
Right.
Like the mentality that you have to be right really embodies the character Lex Luthor extremely well. So
Yeah.
it's just a really like good pick for a villain for today's environment because he really you always imagine dealing with somebody who's just so unreasonable and so like doubles down on everything, and then you just really want to like beat him and punch him in the face for
Yeah.
being so stubborn and being so like and so that's why he's a very this is Lex Luthor, the character, very
He's like a perfect.
compelling.
He's a perfect villain for Superman, where you can
He's a
also be
perfect
just as stubborn
yeah
as well.
yeah he's a perfect Twitter troll or a Reddit mod.
God, don't say that, damn it. Because he could be the very he you saw that scene too. That one of those monkeys is probably a Reddit moderator. Who knows?
He's the Reddit admin.
Oh God. Now, for all I know, too, he probably could have bought that out too, and then just only say that we can only approve people that slander Superman. That is it. And I'm like, you know what? I hating at this point is a professional sport. That's all I get from like these movies too.
And you know what?
Hmm.
And you know what? They could have done this with Batman as well. Not with Joker necessarily. I feel like they did the last Batman movie with like the Twilight guy, um
Oh, yeah, with
Patton, I think.
Robert Pattinson. Yes.
Robert yeah, Pattinson, yeah. Like the spoilers, but like it was the Riddler who was
Yeah.
the mastermind in that one. So the Riddler would have been a pretty good villain to bring to today's environment because like they kind of pivoted him, but decades ago they pivoted him to more of a hacker sort of person.
Yeah.
But like the overall character trait of the Riddler
It's still the
is
same.
that he's very insecure and he
Hmm.
has an inferiority complex, and
Right.
that I feel like that is something that's kind of relatable to a lot of the Twitter sphere. I feel like
Right.
because like the need to like show your superiority is a very compelling and very like relatable trait, especially if you put it in a villain. Then like it's like, ooh, these are the kind of people that you want to like you always imagine just power tripping over them. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird.
Maybe, but
But
it's
the Riddler would be a great villain for like if they're trying to do a Batman version of it. But no, they can't. They would have to go lighthearted, but
may I
and
would
lighthearted Batman doesn't really work. It's not Adam
we
West.
yeah, we will still see regardless too because of like
Actually,
hmm,
oh, I just got a shit take, but go ahead.
no, say your shit take first. Say that first, because I was gonna move on
Okay,
to something else
let's
after that.
let's say the right move for the Batman franchise is to actually make a campy, lighthearted movie.
It's like yeah, it'll be like more
Because hear me out.
mhm.
We've only they've only done dark, gritty, realistic Batman for like the past 2 decades. Okay, but
Yeah.
like think about it. This is like counter logic thinking. Okay, so now would be the time to make a campy Batman movie, right?
I like
And
more to the
I'm not
style
talking
like
about
Brave and the Bold, right?
like Brave and the Bold. Sure, that was a great show,
Yes, it was.
and like I hate to say it, but like something like Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, campy stuff. Like
I this is like that is definitely a shit take.
you could appeal to the LGBTQs.
I don't give a shit about that. uh, like
But
that
like
part itself doesn't
they
matter.
they
I mean, it's like here's the thing about it too. I really because I always don't like the idea that like they keep moving around the Batmans too because they can't find like a right Batman to like make like a franchise out from. But I thought in this the Robert Pattinson one actually worked only because a couple things
they
too.
did.
Because someone else coined this, which I would also agree, and I will also say this point too, is the fact that Batman is like, even though yes, he's the main character, the main character that you see the most is Gotham City. Literally, the entire environment of Gotham City is what built, like, what encapsulate everything too. It's like why Batman makes sense too,
Ye-
why a Penguin makes sense, why the Riddler makes sense as well. So
Yeah,
much of this is crazy
this
to
is
like,
how this is how the Nolan movies were made as well. It was the
yeah,
city itself, the citizens were another part of the main cast,
yeah,
essentially.
yeah, and that was something that like not a lot of superhero movies do right, just because they kind of just ignore like a lot of the like the actual people that these superheroes are trying to save here, and that's like
Well, not
not
necessarily.
necessarily, yeah,
I can think of one counter example, but then again, this is from the 2000s era.
yeah. I mean, let's look at something like Tom Holland stuff when it comes to that superhero movie. Yeah, it's like they do primarily just focus on like the main group of characters, but you do have like recurring like characters that were civilians too that make up like the entirety reason why Peter Parker wants to protect the city, honestly. And
No, not really. It's mostly the Tobey Maguire movies that really demonstrate the concept you're trying to talk about, is that the
mhm,
city is a character.
yeah, like especially Spider-Man 2. Holy fuck, that is still my favorite movie till this day.
And don't forget Spider-Man 1 during the bridge scene, they were throwing
True.
stuff at the Green Goblin. They added
Yeah,
that
yeah.
scene after the 9/11 incident.
Yes, I remember that. But still, Star. God damn, why'd you have to throw that in? I still like Spider-Man 2 because of like straight up the whole thing of
Oh
what I
yeah,
just mentioned before too, and also Doc Ock is
that movie
such a
was
great
that
character.
movie is that movie is a legend. So much of a legend that they tried to copy it again for Multiverse of Madness.
My God, we'll see
You
how.
can't deny that Multiverse of Madness is basically a rehash of Spider-Man 2.
I am going to ignore that comment so that I can live out the rest of my night better. But yes, regardless. Um oh my god, what was I gonna say too? Outside of like, yeah, the whole superhero trope as well. Oh yeah, there's also another fucking trailer. We're getting Masters of the Universe.
Oh yeah, that
That looks
I never
weird.
really I'm not I'm not too familiar with that franchise. I'm aware of it. I know the um meme culture behind
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
yeah, that thing.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, we get to see live action Skeletor. Who is it? Jared Leto. Insert Mark Wahlberg saying, fuck! Say,
That's the Joker guy, right? That's the Suicide Squad Joker guy.
yeah, Jared Leto is that. He was also Ares from Tron Ares. He was also in. He's also Morbius as well
You know what? I can see it. I can see it.
as Skeletor.
Yeah.
As long as they keep him
He just need
CGI, that's fine.
he just needs to buff up.
Uh, to be fair though, Skeletor can. He could just wear a muscle suit and nobody would have known the difference.
Who's playing He-Man? Here,
I
I can look
do,
this up myself.
yeah, I
Masters
give
of
me a
the
sec.
Universe.
Okay. Yeah, as much as I know too, I weirded out that we're getting a Masters of the Universe movie. Then again, this is coming from like, yeah, they are really trying everything too at this point. I think for the most part, the biggest shame was the fact that they didn't think about like trying to continue Dungeons and Dragons, which that in of itself was a
Okay.
crime because of how well that was.
Okay. So Dungeons and Dragons is a movie that is, I think, exceptionally hard to make a sequel out of. First
That
off,
is definitely true.
like first off, like the idea of Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I haven't seen the movie myself, but I've seen many clips of it. Right? YouTube Shorts, which you know I spent too much time on, which I shouldn't. But like they do capture a lot of like what a couple of things that are kind of like I guess inside jokes or like things that you would see from
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons stuff, right? They really like set out to answer the question, what would a Dungeons and Dragons movie be like, right? Like the
right.
I don't know, like the three questions or was it five questions to the dead? That scene
Three questions.
was three questions. Thank you. So like that scene, very Dungeons and Dragons, and then like I think one of the boss fights they had in the movie was so like utterly chaotic and so many
Yeah,
things going on at the same time, which I guess if you play Dungeons and Dragons, that's like, yeah, it's kind of how it goes.
yeah.
So that's a kind of thing that you can really only do once, and
Sure.
I don't think you can make a sequel out of that
I
because
mean,
then you're
yeah.
rehashing the same things, and like
I
you're gonna need a completely new story, and I don't think like I don't think it would be. I don't think it would work. It's kind of like the same reason I feel like we haven't seen the Free Guy 2, you
uh,
know?
that's maybe yeah. But
These
if anything
these
else,
are great concepts
yeah,
for one movie only.
I say that too. But then we're also getting apparently a Baldur's Gate movie in production.
See, that's okay. That's okay because
How's that different
that's an
from like the
additive.
regular?
How is that different? Okay.
Yeah,
So, unlike okay, so Dungeons and Dragons is more culturally ingrained. And what I mean by that is that the people who have experience playing Dungeons and Dragons, you have a lot more than I do. But
right.
like they there's there's a lot of things and there's a lot of culture, there's a lot of like jargon, there's a lot of language, there's a lot of just culture behind that. Okay. It's an it's like a umbrella, right?
Right.
Whereas Baldur's Gate is more of a very specific branch. Sure, it has
Dungeons and
Dungeons and
Dragons.
Dragons as a foundation of it, but there's more of a story structure to it because Dungeons and Dragons you make up the world, you make up the lore, you make up the world building. Whereas
Right.
Baldur's Gate has a more established lore, has a more established world
More
and
so,
stuff.
yeah. More so,
More
yeah.
more 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 so, but like the Dungeons and Dragons just have more of a homebrewy nature, while Baldur's Gate is kind of like it uses Dungeons and Dragons as like a in its DNA, but it is a set piece,
Yeah,
set environment piece,
right.
and that's the key difference between the two. And I can see a Baldur's Gate movie, mainly because the game itself did really well, and they're snatching up all the IPs they can. But like
Yeah,
for Dungeons and Dragons, like they can't make a sequel out of something like that. Baldur's Gate, they can build a series behind over it.
yeah, that's true.
It's all
But
on how you plan, how they plan the the media itself.
fine. I'll probably concede that answer, but then I still don't trust it when it comes to Hasbro managing this too, because they did an abysmal job marketing Transformers One, and that was amazing. And
Man,
if
are they gonna bring back GI Joe?
there is so
Didn't they?
much
Didn't like
hints.
Beast Wars? Didn't,
Yes, they hinted for
yeah,
GI Joe. There's so many hints about it. I don't know if that's actually still being made or developed at this point, because Hasbro right now is kind of just flopping their dicks around right now, in the lack of a better word here. They don't know what the hell to do with their own IP titles. They straight up did not think that Transformer One was gonna do that well, so they didn't do that much marketing for it. But it also turns out, hey, the movie is actually really fucking good. What the hell did you do? And it's like,
I don't know much about the Transformers one
I would
stuff.
100% recommend it. However, the only gripe that might be for a lot of people is the fact that Chris Hemsworth is the voice of Optimus Tribe. Did I say Tribe? Optimus Prime. So that would be the
At
first
least you didn't
thing
say
to like.
Primal.
God, yeah. At least I did not say Optimus Primal. Holy fuck. But anyways, too. I forgot this actor's name, but the one that voices Megatron in Transformers 1. Holy hell. That was like the best origin story for both Megatron and Optimus Prime. Oh, and also they decided to give like uh Keegan or from Key and Peele, the voice of Bumblebee, this role as well. And it's like, oh wow, you give someone that actually likes to talk in real life a character that just does not want to stop talking. Amazing. So we have that.
These are animated films. Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm looking up Hasbro properties because like
Mhm.
they do have a lot of stuff. They have Battleship, they have Transformers, they have GI Joe,
Yeah.
they have Power Rangers. Please let
They're
that
never.
series die.
No.
uh, do they also own Barbie? No, that's Mattel. Never mind.
Oh god, you mentioned that. Holy shit. But yeah, we see a lot of like stuff right now. Like, there's definitely like a new era of movies that are coming through too, which are just straight up like movie adaptation too. However, people
Oh
feel
no.
about it too is like,
Oh
well, what's up?
oh no. I'm looking at the list, and then the moment you say movie adaptations, I see My Little Pony live action film from Hasbro.
Oh no. I
Magic the Gathering film. Wow. Okay. From Hasbro and Legendary. Neat.
what the wait? Is that recent or is that while back?
Let's see. 2000 February 6, 2025.
Oh,
Magic the Universe film and TV universe in works from Legendary and Hasbro.
it interesting nonetheless.
Power Rangers film. Oh, okay. I guess they aren't dead.
Yeah, yeah. That that fucking game is never going to fucking die, or not game. That series isn't going to die too,
Franchise, yeah.
just because if the Super Sentai in Japan is still doing shit, yeah, Power Rangers is also not going to die anytime soon.
Oh my lord.
What?
A Monopoly movie.
No,
And Kevin
you?
Kevin Hart is in it.
Oh, okay. We're really scrapping the bottom of the barrel for this one, huh? Hmm.
2019, the news. Oh wait, 2015 was the initial news, and then
That there was going to be a.
2019 is the one where news about that Kevin Hart is in it. Huh?
Oh God.
Probably not gonna happen. It's been 7 years.
Maybe we'll see. I I am like in so much pain hearing that shit now too. What in the fuck?
You see the
Well,
Borderlands movie?
I don't want to is the thing. I looked at the
Me
cast.
neither.
I'm like who thought this was a good idea for the cast? And
Oh,
they
I
were
know.
like,
I know
why did
exactly who thought it was a good idea.
God? And then they're just like, oh, why did this movie not do well? Have you guys not seen your own fucking movie?
To be
It
fair, that movie has been in development hell for a long time. To be
I
fair,
I figured, but my god, just some of the characters do not make sense to be casted the way they are. Tiny Tina was the only one that's okay. Everybody else is like, why did you cast Kevin Hart
Kevin
as
Hart.
Roland? He looks so
Kevin
short,
Hart.
and
He's
Roland is not even that
trying. He's
short.
trying hard. He's trying very hard to be the Nicolas Cage, the actor who won't say no to anything.
I don't think that's by intention, intentional either. Is the thing here.
Nah,
But you know what? More props to them for, I guess, if they want to, right? But you know what? There is the hope in the very much in the future here is the fact that the Dune Part 3 is going to be hella lit. And I do not
they
think
are
people are going to.
doing Dune Part 3. Really?
Yes, I believe
Same
so.
people?
They're going to have to at this point too, because the
No, the
entirety
same
of that
director.
movie, it should be, because that movie is not to. Like, this is still covering one book, by the way. It's not over yet.
I know it's not over, but I'm surprised. Well, you know what? Never mind. I shouldn't be
Are you
surprised.
really that
And yet
surprised,
I
dude?
am. I shouldn't be, but I am.
Yeah. So literally is the fact that you have something this massive to it. People, I hate it whenever there was like the whole marketing to it. I said this in my last podcast is when they're like saying that, oh, Dune is going to be the next Lord of the Rings. I'm like, bitch, shut up. Lord of the Rings came after Dune. Although to be fair, though, I
But
do believe. Well, the movie
in
wise,
terms of like big, big
yeah.
production
Oh yeah, big production.
series, like a franchise that can have annual big production releases, which is comparable to what Lord of the Rings was back in the
Right.
day.
Right. And you know what? Fair enough. You make that if you pivot it that way, yeah, that makes perfect sense for that, right?
Man,
But
I just realized we had Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, and Harry Potter happening at the same time back in the early 2000s. Man, what a
yes, we
time.
did. Yeah, we were eating good. So we will see what's going from here too. Wait, hold on. As I'm reading it, plot is to be set 12 years after the events of Dune Part 2. The film explores Paul Atreides' descent into authoritarian rule, his victory in the Holy War. Oh yeah, I also mentioned that too in the last one too. Yeah, no, Paul Atreides at this point is committing, in this case, a galactic-wide jihad. Yes,
Mhm.
that is the correct word used to describe what he is doing here.
No, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna assume you're more familiar with the Doom books than I am.
A little bit
But
so.
like,
Well, what's up?
is this would this be enough? Would a movie be enough? Or are they going to opt for more sequels?
I don't know.
Because like because looking at this from like a wider view, right? Like as much as like, oh, I'm shocked, even though I shouldn't be, that they're making a third Dune movie. But like let's look further down the road. What are they going to do like afterwards? Because
Oh,
like
oh, yeah.
the first two movies set up the whole him going after or starting this whole intergalactic jihad, your words. Uh and like so what's the end game here, right?
Okay,
So are they just going obviously they're not going to have one movie that like covers all the rest of the material,
yeah.
source material. That's unrealistic. So obviously like they should have sequels to adapt I don't know how much material there is after the first two movies, right? I'm
So
not too
there's actually
familiar.
there is actually a lot of movies too. I believe there are around like 6 or 7 books in the Dune franchise here. But at some point, you don't actually focus on Paul Atreides in a lot of books. You actually start following his descendants at this point. But I wouldn't even
Ah,
say they should go that far too, because the further you go into the Dune books, dude, the weirder it gets.
right. So where does it stop
It
being
should be able to
interesting enough?
stop here. It should be able to stop here. And if you want to learn more, please read the books yourself. And also be flabbergasted in the insanity that this world that we call Dune. Because I don't know if they
I
actually
see.
showcased this yet too. I need to rewatch Dune Part 2. Did they ever showcase to you how they space travel?
No.
Okay. Um, for this case, if you also don't remember the original Dune movie back in the 1980s too, the way how
I've
the
seen
whole thing,
clips.
yeah. So you see that weird alien-looking like giant baby thing in the original
No.
clip? Okay, so the way how it works too is the fact that they rely space travel based on these weird alien species that look like gigantic amorphous babies. And how do they do it? They make them take the spices that are mined off of Arrakis, the fucking sands of Arrakis here. The whole thing, spice run, the spice must flow kind of shit. So they take those spice, make this giant baby ingest it too, and it trips out so hard, and it causes it to have like some psych, not psychotic here, but in this case, more of a psychedelic trip to that it actually starts manipulating the space around it to then travel the ship to where they need it to go.
That does sound pretty funky.
Yeah, I think they should stop there too. I don't think they need to show that, in my honest opinion. But if they were willing to do that, people are not going to be ready for that, especially this time too, because they did that in the original movie. That shit was weird. This is me
Hey man.
rehashing from my last episode as well. So I'm kind of reliving the vivid memories of that a little bit. Do you have any other questions about Dune?
Not really. I'm not too familiar with it because like it's a book series, right?
Right.
And it's very rare. It's very rare that a series of books can get most of its important plots or stories adapted onto the big screen.
Yeah.
Usually you adapt the first one or two books and then you call it a day, like Ender's Game.
Right.
So like
I
but
wish Ender's Game was actually good.
like you if you have like a whole franchise, a whole series of books that have been consistently good and good enough to be able to adapt onto the big screen, like Lord of the Rings. Even they adapted The Hobbit. Well, probably not because they're good, but they're still writing the momentum of Lord of the Rings.
Right.
It's rare. So from what it sounds like about Dune, is that most of the memorable, most of the important, and most of the popular stuff is front loaded in the
Yes.
series.
Oh
And
yeah.
so the back end stuff is not going to, it's very unlikely to be adapted.
Which is perfectly fine in the case too that like the really interesting part is the whole story between Paul Atreides and like what he's going to do. And I made the
Yeah,
comparison
but
too that like yeah.
but the problem is that if they're trying to gear up Dune to be like a Lord of the Ring esque annual, predictable, big budget, like like yearly or bi-yearly like event, right? But most of their big shot stories have already been, shot, and they only have
Oh,
the
trust me
weird
too.
stuff later.
Trust me. There's still a lot of great stuff too. It just unfortunately you cannot go into that cool stuff without diving into the weird part of this story.
Right. So like that kind of is a little bit of a mismatch for me. But like if there's still a lot of good stuff to
Oh
happen in
yeah.
the story, then okay, sure. It makes more sense that they're trying to gear up this to be a predictable annual sort of like big release, since we seem to be lacking those right now, since Marvel is kind of
Flopping right
taking
now.
taking their time, and Star Wars is
Yeah. We will see, right? Just because it's something else entirely. Like,
it's gonna be Nintendo. Nintendo is gonna be the one that's gonna be our annual predictable big movie going event.
yeah,
It's gonna
it
be
was.
Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for Super Mario Galaxy too. So there's that. So, anyways, too, I'll probably say we have enough to talk about at this point too. We'll probably do another follow up too if there's like anything big going on with movie stuff too. But probably until then, yeah.
I'm
I think
surprised we
right now.
haven't talked about the Mando movie, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's not much to really talk about it too, outside of like I am going
Yeah.
to hold any comments or criticisms about it until it's actually out. Otherwise, too, I'm just going to be saying a lot of shit too that's going to be very much untrue, and I have no idea what it's going to be about. So it's like we'll have to wait and see at this point.
Mm,
So maybe that's like, oh, that's so boring for you to do that. And it's like I don't care. I'm just with Star Wars, I've already mentioned it too. They really do just gotta focus on like something here. Because right now, I'm more interested in the Maul series of the Star Wars, which is just Clone Wars. I love all the animated stuff they do. All right, I'm a sucker for them, and a lot of people like it too. So yeah, why else would I say much more about it?
understandable.
Yeah. But that also doesn't mean too, like if the movie is bad, talk I will talk shit about it. But other than that too, I will see to it until it fully comes out. Unless you have something that you would like to say.
I don't think it's gonna do well.
Hmm. You too?
Like, thematically and narratively, I don't see what they can do with the Mandalorian series. They've
Yeah.
exhausted, everything they can
Yeah.
out of the series, so, like, trying to make a movie out of it, then it's a cash grab, and I I I just can't see where it can go narratively. The franchise is locked in. You can't go, like, anywhere with that franchise anymore.
Right. Yeah. I get that too. Again, it's really difficult. Like a lot of people could definitely take as like, oh, we're seeing like the worst time for any like big IP movies that are coming out too. But in reality, it's like it's not that it's getting progressively worse all around too. If anything, a lot of priorities have shifted a lot of times. So because we're seeing a lot of good production movies being made too, that's just not coming from Marvel. Hell, we already saw it already with DC with Superman movie. So
They
to say
finally
that
got a
like
good win.
yeah, good for them too. But again, I don't think it's like all too bad either too, because there's still going to be people that are going to be passionate about making movies, making films. We just got to be looking out for those. That's about it.
Yeah, and we still have good franchises that could have annual releases. Nintendo.
Yeah. Goddamn. As soon as I see what they are going to do for the Legend of Zelda, I probably will not hear the end of it from you.
I mean, they've already I think they got a good cast. I think they
Nah.
got a good cast. I am on the side that thinks that Zelda should be a girl. So, I'm glad that particular drama is, it's done. It's just let it go.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Zelda's being played by a girl actor. That's all.
Fair enough too. But yes. Well, this is all I can really talk about too. I think we covered a lot of stuff too. No, I won't be talking much about the Avengers Doomsday either too, because I try my best not to talk about all the bad things. So I want to highlight some of the good stuff that's been going around too, such as what I stated earlier. But other than that, you have any closing statements?
Uh, DC, please make my dream a reality. Please, 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 please make a Batman Beyond movie.
That's never gonna happen.
Make a Batman Beyond movie, and my life is yours.
Don't be saying that type of shit, man. I've already said to Capcom if you make a Mega Man game, and they have.
Please, please, Nintendo, please, please have in the plans to make a Super Smash Brothers multiverse movie. You
No,
have the makings of it.
no,
Please make it a reality.
they're just gonna make a Fire Emblem live action, and you're gonna like it.
I, okay. Yeah.
I'll let you sit on that thought. But until then, thank you all, everybody.